the Aboriginal people who reared me as a little kid, for every Indigenous person in this country, I want to thank you for making the effort to come here this evening and to join with us in this fantastic launch. I also want to share with you probably the reason why I'm doing this. There's an old elder, a really great stockman, one of the best in the Pilbara, who reared me and helped rear me as a little kid. His sons and daughters were my best mates, along with my beautiful brother and sister and parents, the isolated community in which we lived. Old Scotty Black, when I was little, that was his name. He had 5 daughters and 1 son by his first wife, and the 5 daughters were named after the months of the year. So, you know, one was May, the other was April, one was June, and that's how he did it, and that all worked. But when I was a little kid, you know, I used to make a few errors, I used to backslide, and I remember this old time. I was about 3 feet tall, and he once made me feel about 10 feet tall. I had a ball stuck in the gully. We couldn't get it out. And he said to me, "Get back in there, young fella, and have a go. I bloody believe in you." And at that time I had such a stutter that just to say thank you to him would have taken about a minute. And he said, "Get in there and have a go." I will never forget those words, and his youngest son Ian became one of my best mates. Now Ian went through primary school with me, got sent away to the same Aboriginal hostel which I did when I was 9, and he was part of a group of my mates. And the last funeral of my mates I went to was Ian's. And I thought, that is enough. We just can't watch the spirit of Australia, our Indigenous brothers and sisters, die before our eyes simply because we want to throw money instead of opportunity. We've failed in so many ways. It's this generation which can now stop that. It's this generation which can say, we have a solution. The solution is, of course, and it's how I've started everything I've ever done, to start at the end. Start where we have to be. We know when we have Aboriginal people in employment at the same rate as the rest of us, and unemployment at the same rate as the rest of us, we don't have a disparity anymore. The disparity is gone. From tonight, we start killing the disparity. And we've started with a massive commitment from the employers around Australia. We've posed to the Prime Minister a seriously high-class problem. And the Prime Minister before Kevin Rudd, all the way back to Menzies, experiencing an ever-widening gap of Aboriginal people, generation after generation. They never had this high-class problem to contend with, and that is that Australian employees across our beautiful nation have stepped up and guaranteed employment with a covenant. Biblically, it's about as tight as you're ever going to get. It's the highest legal commitment. With a covenant to employ Indigenous people. The covenants have hit 22,700, all signed. We've got guarantees waiting for signature for over 25,000. As Australian employees, we made a pact with the Prime Minister and the Indigenous people of Australia a little less than 2 years ago to build this over time to 50,000 job opportunities. And of course, once we fill those job opportunities, we don't have a disparity. It's gone. So we've created for the government, we've created for corporate Australia, we've created for employees of Australia, and we've created for every mum and dad, boy and girl in this country a challenge. We now have to match that employment with relevant training. We have to back that relevant training as dictated by the marketplace. I can assure you, if any of you in this room were doing something your boss didn't want or your customers didn't need, you would be able to work pretty smartly. We have to deliver training, which is what the marketplace wants. The marketplace will guarantee that employment. We back up education behind that training. There is no training without education. And we back up the environment to deliver education. The disparity goes in our generation. So what I wanted to share with you tonight is this disparity which our Indigenous brothers and sisters suffer can go. Unlike any other generation, unlike any other government, unlike any other people of Australia, we now have a solution. It's called employment, it's called guaranteed jobs. We now have to deliver the system into these jobs and the Indigenous people those opportunities. We don't have to go to more funerals like Ian Black. We don't have to have our brothers and sisters die early. Ladies and gentlemen, we can do this. Come with us on this campaign, come with us on this journey. Make it short, make it done in our generation. Have every Australian get on that website. It's the first time it's been done. We've brought people out of the United States who've run presidential campaigns. We've designed a website, we've designed a campaign, we're not mucking around here, this is deadly serious. It had to be done by my own, I suppose, partners in the corporate sector. It does take real commitment. When you look at the Lowies, they came out of a Hungarian Jewish background. That was pretty tough. You look at Kerry Stokes' background. No one did him any favours. Even Jamie Packer had a tough dad, and he's worked his way through. We're all there saying, this is a government-level campaign, but it can't be government because then there's an opposition. It can't be just state government because then there's opposition again. It has to be bipartisan, it has to cover Australia. And when we appeal to you, as I'm doing to you now, to hit that website, put your internet address in, put your email address in, you'll be presented with a short list of things which you can do. It's not much actually. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger until you make the penultimate, which is the covenant to employ an Indigenous person. We all come together and we join hands across this fantastic country. We get on that website, we demonstrate that Australia has had enough, and we are taking the practical action to show our corporate leaders, our MPs, our employers, whoever we are, that we can now move on. Australia will move on, and we will leave the disparity behind. Let's get this show on the road. Thank you.